Roll call, Diane.
Pam Kabinski. Here. Peggy O'Keefe.
Here.
Bob McCosey.
Here.
Chuck Parks.
Here.
Keith.
Here.
Diane. Here. Ron.
Here. Okay, so we want to make a motion to waive Robert's rules?
I make a motion to waive Robert's rules and continue as discussion only.
I second.
Okay. You want to go first, Pam? Go ahead. You got it.
At this time, I have nothing because I'm unorganized.
Okay. Go ahead, Pam.
At this time, I have nothing.
I have a couple things. First of all, there's going to be a Rules and Regulations Committee meeting on January 23rd at 2 p.m. So anybody can come and throw their, if they want to, any input they have, we can take in consideration. The members are me, Diane McIntyre, Carol Groove, John McGee, Stephanie DiGastino, Kathy Mondello, and Paula LaBella. So that the meeting's at 2 o'clock in the classroom. If it's overflowed, then we'll come out here. We might have as many people here as we had last time, so that's the good thing. So your input is well taken. Don't be surprised if we don't accept anything, but we will listen to all things that you want to change or whatever the case may be. That's it.
Chuck?
Yeah, I'd like to say a few things. There's rumors going around again. I know that's surprising. But there's 3 rumors going around about me, and I want to clarify one of them. 2 of them are so crazy. If they keep going on, the people keep passing them, they're as crazy as the people that started the rumors. So I don't even want to go with those. But there's another rumor that really sort of bothered me pretty much. Is a resident told me that I was seen riding around in a golf cart with David, that he was a property manager we hired originally that decided to take another position, that I was riding around with him, and right after that, he decided not to take the job. I'm going to tell you this right now. The only time I saw David was in the glass room with all the other board members there, and the only person I know that was riding around in a golf cart with him was our golf course maintenance superintendent. That's the only one I know that was riding in a golf cart, and that was the day of the interview. That's when that was. So I don't know where all this stuff starts or anything, but to my knowledge, that's the only person that was with him. But that was the only time I saw him. But after he did decide he didn't want to take this job, I did make a phone call to him because I wanted to know why all of a sudden that he was so enthused about coming here. He liked everything we offered him. So I was shocked, really, that he refused the job. So when I talked to him, he said, no, he really liked the place. He liked the board members. He liked the community. He liked everything about the place. But he came in and talked to somebody, okay? And somebody told him something that wasn't true. When we were in the board meetings, we decided what we were going to pay him, what kind of benefits he was getting. Everything that would be approved, it was approved by the board. And he came in and asked for something, and he was lied to, said he couldn't get it, and right after that, he decided not to take the job. So that's it. And I know that, I heard that from his mouth because I called him. I was shocked. No, I wasn't. In this area, no. I wasn't really shocked, but I couldn't believe it because, he wanted this job. And he got another offer because he didn't get something, and that's why he left. That's what he told me. And that's all I want to say to that. That's not true. I didn't run him off. I was 100% for this guy to come here, and that's what happened.
Okay. Keith?
Nothing at this time.
Nothing at this time.
Okay. You want to start? I got resolutions that we're going to change. 2017-01 bids for contract work. We're changing the amount from the $5,000 that the manager can spend to $500. It'll coincide with what Watson has. Can everybody hear me okay? Okay. This is a resolution for bids for contract work. The bids were at, the manager at one time could spend $5,000. We're moving it to $500. It's going to coincide with what Watson Property Management has got. Everybody look through it. If they want to make changes on it, wording in it, it could be changed if you want to.
I have just a couple things. One
Yeah.
is I would suggest we take the sealed bids out because we're not able to get sealed
Yeah.
bids. And just that wording, and then adding wording for when there's clarification of bids. Who,
Okay.
when calls back to the contractors to try to get more uniform information. That's not addressed in this.
Yeah, we can address that.
Yeah.
I don't think that's, we're just gonna change the wording around, then we can just put that on the agenda, Chris, for next, yeah.
The other
We'll
thing-
change things around a little bit, but I
The
mean,
other thing associated with this would be, since we're limiting the property manager to $500, I think we should consider any of the Morris subgroups that are purchasing money that the board becomes responsible for to that same limit of $500. You know, so that the board isn't stuck with.
Fine with me.
You know,
I
that's
don't- does anybody else have an issue with that?
Yeah, one other thing is that, the sealed bids, can you hear me back there?
Now you can, yeah.
Okay. The sealed bids is, I think that should stay in there. I mean, the sealed bids, I think, is
Nobody ever puts them
protect
in,
us though.
nobody
but-
ever puts them in anyway like that, Bob, they don't.
Yeah, but I
I
think
mean-
we're running into problems. If we get a bid and somebody
Unless
looks
we're
at it
sending-
and they're gonna
unless
go
we
under.
send it right to Watson, if we send the bids right to Watson, then they'll, you know,
Well,
but
That could be a thing.
we
but
can
I
leave
mean-
it in there. We'll get
I'm a
them,
little, we
we'll
could
get them the way
discuss
we get
it,
'em.
because I feel the sealed bids is necessary, so that way nobody knows what somebody bid, so the rumors
Yeah.
don't go around, well, he's going to bid, he bid less, and he bid less than
Yeah.
him. Oh, geez, he did that, so I'll put, it's too confusing. I think with the sealed bids, if you get them, fine. If you don't, fine. I mean, that's my opinion.
Well, can we change that terminology in that first one to say?
You can't hear Peggy, you gotta go there.
Can we change the terminology then in the resolution under one, to say 3 bids, instead of saying must be, to change it to may be obtained? Maybe with the board approval, okay?
Or should be,
I mean,
Or
it
should
should be,
Should
something
be.
like
Change
that.
the term,
use the word should, then
Sealed.
you'd have, at least you have a little option.
yeah.
I mean, it kind of opens up the
Change the
door when you
terminology.
don't have sealed bids, but
But I agree with what Keith is presenting here also, is to make sure that the association is aware of anything that is being purchased for the association to be responsible going forward. And that limit needs to be held to $500 also.
let's just see if we can get something together before
Okay.
the meeting next week, that's all, yeah.
Okay, I have a question about what kinds of things would any committee be purchasing that would be up to $500, other than,
Yeah, you have to, I think,
Yeah, you
my
gotta be on
mic's
top- you
working,
gotta
I
be right
think.
on top of that.
Yeah.
okay,
You gotta
I'm
talk
sorry.
close, I think, now. I couldn't, I gotta talk close.
Oh, I got to talk closely. Okay.
think so.
This is my inside voice on the new mics that will work wonderful for me.
It's not that the board wouldn't allow it, but we should just be aware of it. Like, there was a substantial amount of new furniture purchased for, under the canopy, amounted to $5,000. The board wasn't aware of that. We have some new sound equipment that was purchased, how that all affects
I
how
under-
business is done here.
I
That's
understand
kind
what
of the
you're saying.
direction
I
we're
understand
going.
what you're saying. Thank you.
Okay. Go on to the next one. We got another resolution, 2015-04.
Okay.
There's an old one, there's a new one there that Jim Hensel put in. Does anybody questions on that? I mean, they want to change the wording on it? Do they want to do something different with it?
I have some questions on that. One, I would keep the language from the first resolution that describes the different required reserves, restricted reserves. I think that should be included. I also think that the committee should meet quarterly, not monthly. And that in number 5, in number 6, the last sentence should come out, or the last 2 sentences, in that only all income shall normally be prorated at least quarterly to the required reserve accounts. The second part of that seems redundant.
There's room to move things around. We can change that around. I mean, yeah, go ahead, Jim. Can you, come on, we got the mic there. Come on up here, Jim, so we can hear you. So YouTube can hear you. Not so much us. The old one was 2015-04.
Ron, Board, the reason that the quarterly wouldn't work. You gotta get closer to the mic, sorry. Yeah, I know, I keep telling everybody else that too. The reason the quarterly won't work is because we have about $50,000 or more coming in every month. That's only from the monthly maintenance. We also have securities that mature every month. If we don't have a meeting every month, there's a possibility that we'll have too much money in some of the accounts. That committee has to meet every month. Also, the amount of money that we have that we want to keep fluid changes toward the hurricane season. And there could be a lot of other reasons why the amount needs to be discussed every month and laddered. Insurance rates change, a lot of changes in the economy. You might want to lengthen some of the maturities that fall in a month. There's a lot of reasons why monthly meeting is required. Also, some of the things I dropped from there are redundant with the Finance Committee resolution itself. They don't have to be in both places.
I know you're wondering, he was a previous treasurer at one time, Alicia, okay. Okay, go ahead.
When you were talking about changing the verbiage to must and may leaves it optional, must is mandatory. So really think of the semantics that you're putting in there. That leaves that door wide open when you say may.
No, you're right. We probably should leave it the way it is because it just opens up the doors for a lot of different things. We won't even go there. So we can work on that. We'll get together with Jim or whatever. Yeah, add it to the agenda. Yeah. Keith, you want to do the one that you had there?
Sure. I wrote and I distributed this to the board members. This is regarding legal opinions that we received from Jacob, our attorney. Currently, we do not have a systematic way of retaining all of those records. And this resolution establishes a mechanism for retaining emails, written letters, as well as verbal consultations so that the results of those consultations will be available to all board members currently serving and in the future. And it's just a mechanism for doing that. Right now, they're stored in multiple places.
One comment on that, Keith, is that where it says you said in a secure location, correct? Mm-hmm. Now, maybe we should see if we can designate somewhere where there's going to be a secure location on the limited space and time we have here. Whether you go to a storage unit or you keep it in-house here someplace. It's something to look into where I agree with what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying on here, but somewhere where's a secure place?
I was thinking the property manager's office because that's locked after hours.
It'd be in a locked cabinet, though, right?
Well, it would be available to board members.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
But stored in somewhere in the property manager's office.
And I'm assuming the only ones that have the keys to the property manager's office is the property manager, naturally, and the directors and the administrator. Correct? Those are the only ones that should have keys.
That's my
I would think.
understanding. But
I think some of the maintenance guys have a key.
Yeah, see, well, that's what I'm driving at, and I'm not picking on any individual or anything like that. Maybe it could be in some sort of a secured safe of some type, where the directors and the manager are the only ones that have access to those documents and so forth. But like Chuck said, we don't know how many keys are floating around there, and nothing against maintenance people, nothing against anybody, but if you just leave it to the board of directors and the property manager, I think you'd be a lot safer, I would think.
we can certainly identify that location. It's,
But otherwise, it's
Chris, do we have a cabinet or a drawer that locks in there? Okay, we could lock them up with something. We could make some. We'll figure something out for that. I don't have a problem with it. Anybody got any issues with it, with the resolution that he wants to put out?
No, I think it's a very good idea to have the resolution.
Yeah.
I'm not reading the phone here, just so you know. I'm just reading the documents off here. So you see I'm on the phone all the time. I'm not I'm reading the documents off my phone because I didn't have a couple of them, so I'm not being rude. Thank you. Some people might think that, but that's all right.
I thought you were playing games.
Yeah, right. No.
Okay, we got, a while back in December, Diane, or Dee Dee Parks, put out on December 10th. I think everybody should have gotten this.
You got to talk close, I guess, now.
Yeah, everybody should have gotten this, all the board members, about tinting the windows on the back of the yacht club. Okay, they want to take the vertical blinds down and retint the windows on there. I think everybody should have looked at this. It was in my box for almost a month.
I didn't see it.
You should have got it. You should have
When
got
was it distributed? When was it mailed? Or they emailed
Back
it?
on December 10th, Bob.
No, it was put in your box.
Was it in my box? I didn't see it.
Yeah.
We didn't get I did not
I didn't get it.
see the sample.
That was,
The sample was in Ron's box. So
It was in my
everybody-
box, but I think
It
everybody
said
should have
right
got a
on the
copy
letter.
of this, not the
I got a
sample,
copy
not the
of-
sample
yeah,
of that,
yeah,
but the
you got a
sample was
copy
in
of
my
that.
box, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something.
okay, well,
Do we know, Dee Dee, are you here? What's the cost of this? $2,700. Okay.
and this would take the place of the blinds and so forth, right? And just put this over the windows like that? You can see out, but you can't see in? Okay.
Just
thank
on
you.
just on the back of the yacht club,
Yeah, gotcha.
in the two doors? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. We wanted to make sure they could at least see out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Seeing in, we don't care.
It's actually going to give you a nice view of the
Yeah.
water, which we don't have with the verticals up there.
Oh, yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, those verticals are. That was a good question. What is the warranty on those? They don't peel or anything, do they? I
Should be
didn't
on
read
there.
it.
It should be on there, the warranty should be on
Yeah.
there. They got to remove the old tent that's on there and then put a new tent, but we would have to take the verticals down, which is no big deal. That's about a 2-hour job, but, it's gonna be to me, it's gonna be a big factor for the place. You can actually be able, I mean, we got all that pretty water over there and you can
Oh,
never
yeah.
see it. You know, if at least you're having stuff going on, you have a good view of the water and stuff, you know.
Want to go, what? 85%, yeah. Yeah, it's on here. Yeah.
Diane, the total cost included the removal of the old film? And cleaning of the windows, et cetera, and prepping them? Thank you.
Okay. Want to go down the line? How does everybody feel? Go through the board first before we go out there.
The only question I have, is there an intent to replace the blinds down the road? So you would maybe put verticals back up over this tenting?
Oh, you mean on the back, on the back?
That's what I'm asking, is
Okay.
that the intent is?
No,
No, the intent is to remove them, totally.
take those out.
Use the mic, please. Okay, so we don't- yeah. Now, the other thing is that the blinds over there, they're never opened anyway on the other side, unless you want to see the parking lot. So that's a moot point, I would think. The idea is that, I think it's a good idea.
That's why we just decided on the back.
Yeah,
we looked
right.
at it. I met the guy and got a price on his
Yeah.
stuff, and that's all we did.
Yeah.
The sides, the verticals are gonna have to be replaced because they're all up and down.
Oh,
like
yeah,
this.
I know, they're a
You
mess.
know how they are.
Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah. Yeah, heads up. Okay.
Hang on one second. Let's grab the mic there. More for you two. We can hear you, but.
Yeah, take it off and talk to them.
Okay. Also, it was brought to my attention that it's going to save on the power over there, the electrical, because it's a sun protector blocker. The verticals do nothing; they just attract heat.
Okay.
So that was the gentleman brought that to our attention.
Diane,
Do you have the quote on this?
Yeah, you should have it there.
no, I unfortunately did not grab
Hang
mine.
on a second. Yes, I do.
I put it all together.
Oh, it's all together. I got it on my.
Okay,
If anybody wants to see it, it's here.
okay.
Yep.
So this potentially is a first step in a much larger project of replacing the windows on the south side. Am I understanding that correctly?
Well, I think we're gonna go with verticals on there, aren't we? Or we're
Right,
gonna-
right now, let's see.
Eventually.
I thought right now this would be a good test to see how this works. And then we'll see what we're going to do down the side. I don't think there's any view on the side to look at. So
No.
I would say that we will replace those with verticals, but we're talking a lot more money. So right now, we would start with this, and maybe in a couple months, we could go for the verticals down the side. Or Pam and I discussed tinting and maybe panels of fabric. So there's a lot of different things we can do, but this is the start.
This thing's checked as lifetime warranty, is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
I did not know that, but yes.
Yeah, it is.
So we're going to put that on the agenda for
Yeah, put it on the agenda, Chris.
when our next meeting is.
One thing we did talk about also on that, the verticals on the side, and me and Ron talked about this, is the tracks are still good, and all we have to do is to replace the slats on it. We could possibly do that
all the veins.
with
There's
cloth ones, so
possibility.
it'll be more sound and everything.
Yeah, they're very rarely open.
Yeah, I know, but for the sound, but they're ugly. I mean, they're all
Yeah,
up and down,
no,
different heights and
replacement,
everything.
leave them as is,
Yeah.
because nobody opens those anyway. You look at
Yeah,
the parking
so
lot.
like I said, the tracks are fine. You can just take
Yeah.
those off and put new ones up, new slats up. That'd be a later date.
I'm looking at the quote, and I'm seeing two prices. One is $19.95. The other is $23.75 with tax. The second one, what was the first one?
A cheaper tent.
Oh, it was a different tint. Got it. Thank you.
Do they have any other bids, given the move to change the resolution to $500 for sealed bids? This exceeds that, so do we need other bids?
Coming out of the House Committee, I mean, do we need to get them involved? Yeah. I mean, is it really? Do we want to get into their business? I mean, that's the whole thing.
Yeah, that's,
I mean, we're talking about two different things here. We're talking about our business and their business, so. I don't know. I mean, how far do we want to go with it? Are we supposed to control you guys? I don't think so. Or control them?
we don't, as a board, we don't take any money in.
No.
Well, this is a replacement anyways. It's not
Yes.
a new item. It's actually a replacement to be done.
No.
But the funds to pay for this will come out of the furniture fixture and
Correct.
equipment
Yes.
reserve line.
Yeah, that's where it's
So-
supposed
Oh,
to come
okay.
from, yeah.
That
Okay, that's coming out of our
committee
line.
needs
So it is a
to,
board
Okay, you're talking about a whole
issue.
different thing, okay.
So it doesn't come out of House Committee then?
no,
No,
it doesn't. It
no, it
comes out
doesn't.
of that
Okay.
reserve line. So
Right.
Okay.
the money in that reserve line is for many things, so that the finance committee needs to make sure that this expenditure is okay.
Yeah, but that
As-
5,000 isn't in there yet, right? So we can
Yeah.
move forward?
Yeah, I
It
mean,
doesn't
we
start-
haven't approved the 500 yet,
Yeah.
so.
That hasn't been approved yet, Peggy.
Well, maybe there should be a discussion with the head of Mora, though, because that's who, you know,
Speaking,
they
yeah,
should at least
get
be
closer,
made.
get closer.
They should be at least made aware that this purchase is going to be, you know, in the realm of 2,700.
What was that?
But if
Mora,
it's,
you say Mora?
Mora, yeah.
but if
Isn't
it,
that, they're not Mora, are they?
that's.
The House Committee falls under Mora, so. Yes.
No, it's coming out of the reserves.
Right.
The board is purchasing it.
Right.
You don't have to worry about that 500 or 5,000.
Yeah, right, we're approving
Yeah,
it.
right,
You guys are buying it.
right.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's true.
Thank you.
Well, then I'd say buy it.
Okay, next. That's not right.
Okay.
Got it on the agenda,
It's
Chris?
the, I mean,
And we can't vote on anything today. This is only a workshop meeting. We discuss it, we think it out, then we put on an agenda for our next board meeting, and then we officially can vote yes or no.
Will you put it on the agenda?
Yes,
Thank you.
right? We put it on the agenda.
Yes, it's been added to the
Yes.
agenda.
I want to go back to the documents being secured. Let's take a step back. As a manager, I would not have wanted people going in my office, going through my documents and going through everything. if you're going to do that, I think you need a key code on the door of who enters and who comes in there and goes in there, and a log of what documents are being looked at or taken, because if they go missing, guess who's responsible? The manager. It's in his office, and there has to be some sort of accountability of who's going through those documents. When I locked my door at night, I knew what was in my office. I wanted to know it was going to be there when I got back. So that's just my opinion as a property manager.
In the resolution that I wrote, I did include a log for people accessing that, so it's,
Yeah, it's in
Not
there.
a lock, a key code. So there's, every person has an individual code who enters that office. So there's accountability.
You're talking a big expense for key codes.
It's not expensive.
We've
I
had 'em-
have it on my
yeah.
house,
Well, I've-
and we do it for under $200. It's very inexpensive.
Then you have
It's
to
less
monitor,
than what it
you
is.
still monitor it, right? You have a monitoring system and so
The
forth.
monitoring system comes right up on the manager's phone.
I know we have that at the fire department, it costs us
Right.
thousands.
That
Anyway.
whatever.
I understand that you're talking about the way you were doing things right now. We're taking over, those things are going to change. First of all, those documents coming from Jacob's office, they're going to be a scan. Paper, it's gone. So it's not that we're going to store those documents, they're going to store in the cloud. So you want to look it from your house, from your phone, wherever you're going to be, you can look those. We got to decide if the way we do it on Watson, after we scan and we put it in the cloud, they be shred, destroy. We don't want papers running around and being missing. The board responsible for those documents. So you're going to have access to those documents through the portal. I don't imagine any of you printing those documents and give it to somebody else.
Right.
So that's the main reason. So worrying about the documents that are going to be missing or anything else, we scan the original, shred it. That's
Very
the
good.
way we do
Makes
it.
sense. Yep,
Good.
good process.
And the directors will have a special code to get in there by their phone or whatever, have to access to it, you're saying, right?
The directors
Yep.
have access because you're the director.
Right, okay.
As soon as you are
Yep.
out of the board,
Correct.
we'll remove that access from you.
Correct.
So you're not able to access anymore.
Very good. Excellent. Excellent.
Good deal.
Thank you, Carlos.
Go ahead, Chris.
Modernization is good.
Just in case you didn't know, on our website, there is a, quote, secure folder just for board documents. You guys could use that, maybe not for this exact situation, but
For other things,
right
too.
now, no one's using it, but you could.
Okay.
It's another option.
Thank you.
Anybody else out there? No, for that? Anybody else on the board? Anything to say? Okay. Let's move on to the,
Oh, I didn't know he was done with
No,
all
go
his
ahead.
resolutions. Okay, yeah, all right.
go ahead, you can go.
Yeah, we found 3 members to replace the people on the planning committee today. So I'd like to put that on the agenda so the board can vote on the people on the next meeting.
Who are they?
Who's the names?
Beth Kugler, Howie Snyder, and Kim Smith. Camille was on the committee, but she's going to be switching committee, so she's stepping down on that. So we have 3 people. We already got 3 people to replace, and we just voted on the people, and they were in, so we just need the board approval on it. Thank you.
Chuck, do you have a planning committee meeting scheduled?
Not yet.
Okay,
There will be as soon as, I don't even have a lead right now,
okay,
so I'm working on that.
all right.
Anybody else got anything they want? No? Okay, let's-
Hey, I just have one thing. The Finance Committee has a member that needs to be voted on next Tuesday.
That should be put on the agenda,
Yeah,
too.
it should be put on,
Put that on the agenda, Chris.
What's the name on that one? Ed
Ed
Shapiro?
Ed Shapiro.
Yeah, Ed Shapiro, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the painting of the Canner Highway wall. Okay, we've got 3 bids here. One's from Seal Tech for $13,750. The other one's from Joe Valquez and Son. They're at 22,125. And the third one is from, good question. Stevens.
I'm sorry.
I don't
It
have
is
the
from
top- I don't have the
Steve
top of the
Biglin
page.
and
Okay.
Son
I don't have the
Painting.
top of
It
the
just didn't print off on
Yeah,
there.
19,710.
Yeah.
Lowest bid is from Seal Tech, the same ones that did the front wall here.
Yeah.
We had volunteers that wanted to do this wall. I contacted our insurance, Damien, and here's what he said, okay? Okay. I asked him if we had workers' comp for our guys, and he said yes, okay. Under the workers' compensation policy, there's volunteer endorsements, so there would be coverage. He says, just not highly preferable to have our guys out on the street. I sent him pictures of the road, okay? I'll read what I said to him. We have some volunteers that want to paint one of our walls on the perimeter of the complex. I attached pictures of the wall. It's approximately 18 to 2,000 linear feet long, 6 foot high. My concern is the outside wall being on Cantor Highway and the sidewalk approximately 6 foot from the street, which is a huge concern of mine and the board's, okay? Would they be covered by workman's comp under this policy if someone was hurt? Okay. And I told him we also have 3 bids, and I appreciated his input. And like I said, he said under the workers' compensation policy, there's volunteer endorsements, so there would be coverage. I just highly not preferable to do something like that. Plus 1 claim premium increase would be very dramatic. Full support for the outside vendor. Not worth the exposure to the insurance company. One of the things that we have to say is this money is coming out of the reserves. We're not saving anything out of the operating budget. The reserves are funded every month on a monthly basis. We put X amount of dollars in the reserve. So is it worth it? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But it's not worth somebody getting hurt. If a car goes over that sidewalk out there and there's 5 people on there and they decide to mow people down, we're going to have an issue. And I'd rather have a company doing it. Well, I mean.
Oh, can I say something? I very rarely disagree with other board members and so forth, but my standpoint is this. They've done it before. We've had volunteers here. I don't know if anyone remembers. I don't think, Chris, were you here, Chris, when they did that? That's how long ago? They painted the wall. All volunteers. Cantor Highway, over here, over there. There was no problems, okay? My suggestion, in my opinion, is I can respect what Damon says and so forth. We can have a guy here jump in a pool and try. I think that we should give the opportunity, as long as you got some volunteers, as long as they follow the specs of what the 3 bidders stated, I think we could save, at least $6,000, $7,000 possibly? I don't know. That's my opinion. These guys are not fly-by-night painters, I don't think. Not like me. I would never go out there because I can't paint at all. But I think we should afford the opportunity to these volunteers that took the time and effort, the energy to gain some people to do it, as long as they go by the specs and as long as they feel comfortable doing it out there. And I believe we have a power wash, right? We have a power wash machine, and I believe I was talking to one gentleman, they said they could power wash it too. And actually power wash it, fill the cracks, and paint it, as long as they go by the specs of what these people bid in. And it's astonishing that one bid is $8,000 more than the other bid. Wow, that's something. But that's my standpoint. I think that we should at least afford the opportunity to those people that volunteered, sit down with them. Do they feel comfortable out there? They might say, no, we don't feel comfortable out there. So that's negate the whole situation. But that's my opinion. We don't want to turn volunteers off if they're willing to do it. And I'm sure they're going to do it in a safe manner. They've done it before. And I repeat myself, we've done it before. Our volunteers has painted the walls, and there was no problem. But that's my point.
I have a question. Excuse me. I have a question. Is one of the representatives from the volunteers, is he here? Or there, he, she, it?
Dave, right?
Dave, are you?
Can you go up there and just...
Dave, good. Thanks. I appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
Have you seen the specs and have you?
I have not.
Okay. I'm just wondering if you're willing to adhere to the specs and what was brought in, because
Yeah.
I had originally seen that, an email that it was not,
Just give me
cleaning it was
confidence.
not necessary. I don't understand that when you can verbally, or you can visually see the mold and some of the cracks on it. And I don't understand how you could just put paint over all of that. So make me understand.
I talked to Chris, he said it should be washed. I said, wash it. So wash it first. He was gonna do 2 sections. Chris said he was gonna have someone wash the walls. I said, do it and then take a look. See what kind of cracks there are. See where they're coming from. Are they settling cracks? Are they structure cracks? You don't know what that is, because when they were working on that sidewalk for a year, water was getting down in there. So just putting some patching on a crack is not gonna fix the problem.
Okay.
All right, the paints nowadays are self-priming. Does it need a coat of primer? Let's see what it looks like after the power wash. I tend to doubt it needs a coat of primer. I would like to see it washed. It's not going to be bare cement. I say you can go right over it. And if you have a problem with that, let us do a practice wall over behind the maintenance building, and I'll show you what it looks like. And then we can go out there. That'd be a warm-up for us.
Right.
You know, and then you can judge the kind of work. Yes, that's what I do for a living.
Okay.
And these volunteers, I'll work with them. It'd be no different than maybe if Ron was supervising his crews for many years. You know, we'll take a look and see what they can do. If someone can't be bending down, then don't do it. We need people, you know, make sure it's safe, moving cones around for safety purposes, you know, grabbing stuff, not just coffee, but I mean stuff that we might need. And so we'll need gophers. So, I mean, to put together a dozen people, this is going to go really good.
And how long do you think a project of that wall, a magnitude, would take?
I was hoping to do the wall in a day.
Oh, really?
Wow. You
With
got
that
good
many
painters.
people. Yeah, that's what I was planning on. It depends what time people show up.
Yeah. So you have some experience as painting, right?
Yes, he does.
No, I just want to know people that you would know that I know you do. But
And as a matter of fact, I've been volunteering.
I know.
And if you don't like what I do, I need you to tell me, but I'm willing to do whatever I can to help out. And if you don't want me to volunteer, tell me. I don't have to do this. You know, I mean, I was painting the fence out here with Rose, and then I had one section left, and people came out there and said, "What are you doing here?" I said, "Fine, I'm leaving." You know, I don't have to be doing things. You know, Ron asked me to do some things. I did. I completed it. I did it the way I thought it should be done. I wish that, you know, maybe on the mailbox, I wish the color was different. If it was the same color as the aluminum that it had been doing, we wouldn't see it deteriorating as fast. The fronts, the doors are almost impossible to do, so I didn't touch them. For what I did the sides. I don't want to critique anything else, but I did it the way I thought it would be done, and I just did it a quickie. I spent 1 hour per section of mailboxes. That was sanding, washing, and painting. 1 hour, each section.
Okay, we don't need to clap. I understand that.
And I finished the 4th one because I didn't know it was over there. But anyway, but I'm here to help. And
Thanks, Dave. No,
if you want to let us practice, let us practice.
That sounds good. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, I do have a comment, Dave. I really want to thank you for your volunteering. I think that's great. The one good thing you said to ease my mind is you're going to put cones around, because that road is very busy, and when they painted the wall before, there was only 2 lanes. Now there's more. So in my mind, it's a higher risk but you said cones, so I'm...
Caution tape too, right?
Yes, of
Yeah.
course.
Caution tape.
Okay. So, thank you.
I was in the streets for 30 years. I don't know where my brother-in-law is here, though, but I mean, he knows about that. I'm going to tell you something. Cones do not stop 3,000-pound cars. I'm sorry. I mean, the only thing you get is concrete barriers in there. I mean, if you think that people won't go over cones or run over cones or go over the top of the sidewalk, you're gravely mistaken, because that used to stripe the streets. I walk down the middle of the road. I know what the traffic is like. Okay, go ahead, Dave. My concern is about somebody getting hurt out there.
Try painting the mailboxes.
Yeah. So if you're doing it in here, you can imagine what it's out there. I mean, that's the same thing. I know.
How many cars have ever hit
Yeah,
that wall
yeah.
in the years?
Well, let me see. We had one go right through it.
50 years.
Well, that was
One.
probably.
It only takes one. That's all it takes. All it takes is one with 5 people out there and have them get hit. That's what I'm concerned about.
Can I make a comment? The people that did all that work out there on the sidewalks and everything, they beat that wall up completely. I mean, there's big chips where they lean stuff against the top rail, and there's big chips in it and stuff, and they got holes where they actually put concrete in it instead of fixing it with stucco and stuff. Is there any callback we can get them come to repair the mess they made?
We actually had to sign a waiver off that we'd be responsible for it.
Thank you very much.
The board unanimously approved it over 2 years ago.
Wow.
That's how long it's been going on.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, gotta go to the.
32J Beth.
Oh,
I
that's
just-
a new member.
I just want to say something about, and thank this gentleman very much,
Close.
about for doing that painting. I'm a retired nurse, so I'll stand out there and I'll watch for cars coming down the road too. And I get what you're saying, Ron, but if we do it in a safe manner and a quick manner, because I'm from the north, because we're hearing appalling things about bills that went through that shouldn't have, in my opinion, just my opinion. I think we need to really thank people that are coming forward and volunteering
Oh, I'm not saying
in
that.
the
I
way
do
that
thank
Monterey
everybody.
always had. And I know you're talking safety, but I think all these people are going to be as safe as they can. I mean.
I'm not worried about them.
Oh.
I'm worried about the cars, okay?
Okay. Anyway,
I know how many times I almost got hit over 30 years, so.
yeah, I run across that road all the time. It's true. You can.
Ask my wife. She was on the road once when I was there.
She probably hit you. She was aiming for you.
I've painted fences in Boston, and I actually got run over twice by bicycles.
Yeah. That's just as bad, Dave. I know what
And
you
you
mean.
survived.
That's what I'm saying. It's a safety factor, but. Go ahead, Al.
Well, your planning committee's right in the ball here.
Howie Snyder, 18C. We're talking about this like it's an either or. If you're really, really worried about Canna Highway, there's a tunnel wall here. We can have the volunteers do everything with the exception of Canna Highway and maybe put that out to bid. So keep that in mind as well.
I don't know if a contractor would come in and just do part of it, though. I don't know. They may. But. Chris, do we have any idea what it costs to power wash that thing?
I don't. Dino Pressure Cleaning is coming to do the wall for, this was included with his other thing, the wall in the shopping plaza. And I told him when he came here, if he would give me a price for pressure cleaning the wall front and back. However, I thought Dave said you had somebody that volunteered to do the washing. I don't know anyone that washes. Oh, I thought somebody said that. Well, this was it. I don't know anyone that washes. I thought you said you had someone to wash. Yeah, Dino. But I thought somebody had said there was a volunteer that said they would pressure clean. I will do it.
Oh, yeah, I thought there was some, yeah.
I've done it before. We've got 2 pressure things like that before.
Yeah, that'll save some money, too.
I'll have Dino get us a bill, give us a price, but then I'll get with Sam and somebody else up there, Paul. We've got 2 pressure cleaners, so.
Yeah, see how easy that is.
Hey, Chris, do we have some hose bibs over there to hook to?
No, the closest hose bib would be from buildings, so it'd be like building 8, building 25, building 31. I think it's, and then of course down near the deep well, so I think we have enough.
Enough to do it, okay.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Okay, I have a perfect solution for the safety on Canner. I am in the mic. Hold on. Okay. So, as you know, there's been an old police car that's been sitting around with bullet holes. We might as well utilize that now because it's still on the property. Park it on Canner. And then we have it. The cars will go around it. We might as well utilize it because it's been here for a long time.
I think that car will be going soon.
What?
I think the gentleman had that car, correct me if I'm wrong, he sold his unit, he's got to get the thing out of there.
I know, it's another building now. It
Oh.
travels. It's at another building. So we might as well use it now.
Oh, God, where is it now? Where is it now?
Over at
He's an owner.
I have a question for Chris. Do we have enough painting supplies, or will we have to purchase?
We would have to order paint for this.
No, I know with the paint, but all the supplies, rollers, and,
Dave and I already went through the list of everything that
Okay.
we need. It's not extraordinary.
Okay.
Yeah, 10 guys with rollers and pans and, yeah. Big going to Dave. Yeah.
What are we looking at as savings for them to do it, Chris?
Well, it'll be the cost of the labor, and the pressure cleaning part of it alone is gonna be a good portion of it. So, I mean, Sam and Paul pressure clean it, I think, said about maybe 5,000-6,000.
Savings?
No.
That's a start. So we got to vote on it. That's going to be an agenda, right? No, agenda for
Agenda item.
when we have to vote on it. Again, we can't vote
Anybody
here.
else on the board got anything about to say? Nothing? No?
So add to the agenda?
Add it to the agenda.
I'm going to make a comment. I think as long as, when they first put it out, they weren't going to pressure clean, they weren't going to do this, they fill the cracks and stuff, and I wasn't for that. But now they changed what they're going to do. They're going to do it a pressure cleaning, they're going to do the cracks, they're going to fix the stuff up. So I say give them a shot at it, so we'll see what happens.
What else we got? Anything? I got some correspondence I got to read. Anybody got anything else? Go ahead.
Uh-oh. You can call me Bob. That's okay. You don't have to call me Mister.
You said the Rules and Regulations Committee was on January 23rd, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I think it said January 22nd,
22nd,
24th,
okay. I thought
2
I
p.m.
heard 23rd in the back.
Oh.
Thank you very
Then
much.
I apologize.
No
That's
worries.
why I have good committee
I just don't
members.
want people showing up
Thank
the
you very
wrong
much.
day.
Jeez, I have it written here, January 22nd, 2024, 2 p.m. I apologize. Thank you very much for picking that up. One of my committee members. All right. We're right on the ball there. Thank you, Kathy. I knew when you said Mr. was tough. Okay. That's that.
Nilsa at 9F. Thank you, Dave, for painting the mailboxes, but they don't have the numbers like the other ones do. Now you can't see, and I know he said,
I got it.
no, but my question is there going to be numbers, or are they going to do something to see the numbers?
Question.
Okay, so that answered
good
that
question.
question.
What'd
The
I tell
ones
you?
that were
What'd I
put
tell
on
you?
in the first time are already peeling off. So maybe to paint them on, I don't know, I'm just saying, you can't really see some of the numbers, especially some of the newer people. They have, the mail guy usually has to tell you which number is which. Now, they did put the little numbers on top, you can see,
Okay.
the division.
Yeah.
But you can't see the mailbox number.
I have to get a volunteer to
Ron,
do
were
it.
you going to talk on about this, Diana's thing,
What
the
is it?
roof, that thing?
Yeah, that's on here about it.
Okay,
It's
that's-
down towards the bottom, yeah. I got that, Don Hannah's, you mean?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
an
I
easy
got that.
one, I think.
Okay.
Maybe we can find out where Peg got those little numbers at so we can get them and finish the mailboxes.
Yeah.
Oh, they're filling off already?
This is correspondence from Kim Sensiri, which is over here.
You know what, I can ask my question.
Okay. Instead of reading it?
Because there's a lot of questions there, and I'm going to cut it real short, because I know last time I talked very long, and I listened to it, and I thought, nobody heard what I said. I have a couple of things I need to ask. First, when is my mother's walkway going to be fixed, her sidewalk? I know we've had a lot of rain, but it is peeling. And it is peeled a lot, and it was because of how it was done, and it wasn't dry, okay? So I just want to see when that can be remedied, or is somebody going to look after that? My second question is, I had a bunch of plants taken out to the left of my building. Next time somebody removes your plants that are live and healthy, can we get a letter and notice? Because I would have dug them up and put them in a pot. I think it was really rude, and those plants have been there 4 years, and it just happened to happen after I spoke at a meeting that they were all ripped out around my building. Was anybody else's plants ripped out around their building? Yes. Okay. And I don't understand why, especially since some of them were very sentimental to me, because one was planted almost 5 years ago as a memorial to my sister's death. So I think it was really rude, okay? And next time, I think we deserve a letter and a notification. The other question is, I've had these questions that I gave the board back in September. Nobody has answered them.
November 7th meeting.
November 7th, okay, sorry.
Sorry.
But what I wanted to know is, I understand they're not addressed, and I know I probably have a 3-minute rule here, right? So I have to sit back down and get back up?
Well, if you move along, we'll be
Okay.
all right.
What board members sign these checks? And with those checks, were there invoices attached to clarify the amounts? And why was, like, if somebody painted a building on the ledger, it said building 13, 14, 15. If there was a check that was written to Peggy, it said painting of building, supplies. We don't know what supplies. Who did Peggy pay out of the money she received? And what amount was paid to them? Because the individual men were paid individually, amount of $7,000 that had that were initially doing it. So it's very ambiguous, and I think we, as a community, deserve answers to this. And it's never been addressed. I feel like it's been, oh, it's going to go away. Nobody's going to answer. Peggy has left, and I think she should be the one to answer why she thought she should be paid to do this job, because every board member knows they are not allowed to be paid. Every board member knows the bylaws. Oh, so.
Okay, no clapping, please. Please, stop.
Going back, I just want answers to the
No
questions finally, and then we can move on. Because if we are going to play nice in this sandbox, we don't have to agree, but we have to be respectful. We have to have integrity. And we have to be honest as a community. We don't have to like each other, because I've gotten a lot of hate mail. Okay? And that's okay, you don't have to like me. But can we just at least move on and be transparent and take accountability? Because when you make a mistake, you fix it, you say you're sorry, you say why you did it, and you take accountability. And I have seen none of that. And each board member should tell us if they sign the checks, how many checks they signed, and we should have the transparency. And why they thought it was okay. I mean, I don't know, I don't understand. You know, because every time I get a letter from you now for if I have my bike parked, I can just send you a letter back and say, oh, I'm sorry, it was a mistake. That was a mistake,
Yeah.
uh-oh. Because that's going to be my answer to anything I get from anybody on this board. I'm sorry, it's a mistake. And sweep it under the rug, and I will not get a fine for $50 for having a plant, and I will not be held accountable because you guys are not being held accountable.
Okay.
So I'm not answering the questions, but I would like the questions
Wait a minute,
addressed.
I take the offense to that. You're saying I'm not accountable for
No,
anything.
you weren't involved.
Oh, no, okay, I wasn't even here.
You weren't involved.
Okay, I
The
want to make
board
sure
mem-
everybody understands that.
No,
I
the
put
board-
12 years on this board,
Oh,
and I was
this
very
isn't-
good on that
This
thing.
is not,
Okay.
I promise. This is to the people
No, don't
who
worry, I'm just
signed.
getting a little hot on that because I hate to be accused of something.
No, when
that
I
don't do
said
nothing.
the
Okay.
people who signed the checks,
Fine, okay,
you weren't even aware of this.
right, okay. I
So,
just protected
that's all.
myself.
I'm done. So I'm hoping for some answers.
Please, no, you don't have to clap. There's no clapping. One of the things I wanted to say is Bob was not involved. I had no idea it was going. Bob had no idea it was going on, and Chuck was kind of left out of the loop on it. So that's where it goes.
I have something to say, but everybody should know in Monterey if you guys were not involved. Okay?
It's,
Why don't you get to the mic?
you got to stand up. You got to stand up at the microphone, Sam.
I feel that everybody
Everybody knows.
who was involved, who's not involved.
Everybody knows, Sam.
Everybody knows by now.
Everybody knows.
I haven't been here. I hear a lot of rumors.
Can't hear anything you're
You gotta go
saying.
to the mic. You gotta go to the mic, that's a good point.
Okay.
That's why I'm not running.
I've heard a lot of rumors. That a lot of things have been going on. I don't want to believe any rumors, but it would be nice if the board would explain to the snowbirds what happened this summer, okay? We're talking about a lot of different issues. I'm a little confused, okay? I've heard about the wall. I've heard about the sidewalks. Something was brought up about the sidewalks now. Who's going to repaint them if they're peeling? They got paid. Are they under warranty? Okay? So a lot of those rumors, they should be brought out, okay? Not in closed doors in the front of everybody. That way it will stop. I mean, I've heard $20,000 for the sidewalks. Is it true or is it a lie?
Total painting was over
Okay?
20,000.
I've heard that people got paid on the side. Is that true or is it a
I
lie?
don't have any idea. I couldn't tell you.
Well,
It's a good question.
I
don't
mean,
know.
I could tell you that Chris got paid on the side. I could tell you Sid got paid on the side. I could tell you on and on and on. I don't want to accuse Chris. I've known Chris for a long time. And if he's guilty, he's guilty. If he's innocent, we should clear the air. Okay? One person or two people on the board can't do it all. We need to be together. And I'm going to leave it with one thing. I remember, I've been here on and off since 1987. I used to love Monterey. I bought 15 years ago. I love Monterey. Now I just like it. It's been split. Some people don't tell anything what's going on. Okay? The little group knows what's going on and they do things behind the door. I pay my maintenance like all of you. Okay? I have volunteered in Monterey for years. I did the canvas. The board was going to replace it. The fountain, that's a different issue. Thank you. But I did the tent. Underneath the tent, they were going to replace it and pay $8,400. I went behind. I went to the president back then, and I said, you know what? I could do it. I did it for a couple $100 with the volunteers. Okay?
Yeah.
So my point today is let's change what's going on around Monterey. Let's
Correct,
be
yeah.
family. Like we talk about it, but we don't do it. Okay? And let's be open with everybody. Not just the little group or the little cliques. This is a community. Was always built on volunteers and I see family. Okay, like a family. It hasn't been lately. Okay? And I hear a lot of rumor who started this stuff. That's wrong. Let's get back on the right track. That's all I have to say.
Good. Hey, Chris, you're there. Can I ask you a question? What's the maximum amount of candidates can run for the board of directors at one time? Maximum.
510.
Okay, good. Look at all these people out here. I hope all those names are in there to run for the board. Hopefully it'll be a handful. From my understanding, nobody's putting in. Put in. Well, he can't do it because of that, she can't do it. We put time and effort. People make mistakes and so forth like that. But put in for the board. Put in. 510 units could put in. If we don't get at least 10 or 12, I'll be disappointed. Ron and I are not running, and I don't know about Diane, but I'll publicly say that. Because I see the thing, I've been here 20 years. 12 on the board, 10 on, 2 off, and then 2 back on again. And I came back to try to help the organization. I think I did a fairly good job on it. And I see how this place, and I said it years ago, it seems like it's divided. And like I say, if you don't like somebody on the outside, that's your business. When you come to this board, you have to respect everybody, and I agree 100%, the transparency's got to be there. And I can see the thing that's done, and it really bothers me, because this is a good organization. We've got a lot of good people out there, a lot of talented people out there, and so forth, and that come forward. It's not that difficult. Now you have Watson here, the experts, too. You can lean on them, too. I know a lot of people lean on Chris, but you got Carlos here, Alicia here, and her group from Watson, the highly respected people, and I think they would do a damn good job. And I looked at that porthole they have there. That's excellent. And you talk about follow-up. Carlos, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to put you on the spot. The portal, like you put a work order in, you type it in, it'll follow right up on it. Is that correct?
Yes.
It's a good, you came up a good point, a follow-up system. We've been lacking that. Follow up on things. But now that portal they have through there, it got a lot of different things that are very good. It's all on the phone, on your computer and so forth. This is the way we're going, and it's a great system. That's all I got to say. I don't want to offend anybody, but thank you very much for putting up with me. Thank you. Sorry to get too excited, kid. I know.
So does everybody know what happened over the summer? No. Okay, I figured somebody was going to say no. It was an issue where a board member got paid to do work in the complex, and they're not supposed to be paid, okay? That's the bottom line of the thing. I mean, if anybody's got any questions they can ask, I don't know what I can answer, but. Anybody? No? Okay.
Oh, Mr. Hensel, our.
Okay, let's move on to different stuff.
I had occasion to look at the resolutions. I wanted to update myself. And incidentally, they're administrative rules. They should be on the internet. And I was kind of disappointed when I got to the long-range plan. And I would have to say it's not the long-range plan anymore because the resolution was changed. The only thing that was changed on it is they dropped the long-range plan. If you read the resolution, the requirement is still in there that that committee is supposed to develop a long-range plan. It's more than just grills and where they should be placed and simpler things like that. For instance, the previous committee, when I was still on the board, was working on a plan. And some of the things that they were considering was our changing population. You know, the people that are here now are a different generation from the people that were here previously. What are the differences, and how should we change Monterey to accompany the new people arriving instead of maybe the old people who have already left? They're different backgrounds. How about amending the bylaws to reduce rentals? We did that to make it more ownership instead of rentals. The different generations are not only one of the things, but how about increasing the number of permanent residents? It used to be most everybody was snowbirds. Everybody's not snowbirds anymore. What's the difference? How does it change anything? How about catastrophes? We are in a hurricane area. Our state has probably more tornadoes than most other states, maybe not in this area, but they cause problems. What happens if we have an outage? Say water. And you say, well, it's not going to happen here. We're pretty solid. But it happened in Fort Lauderdale. They were out of water in northern Fort Lauderdale a couple years ago for a month, no water. How is that going to change our life here for the people that are here in the summer? One thing that might come to mind is, how do you flush the johns? Well, you know, the swimming pool's not going to last real long. How about if we lose electricity? Well, everybody says it's underground for most of the place. We're not going to lose electricity. They did in Miami for a long period of time. They did down in the Keys. We do have hurricanes. And what happens if the electricity goes out, even for a few days, say for a week, say for 3 days? You know, it's not, it's going to be hot, but not only hot, we have a sewage pump down here. Now it only might be for one building, maybe gravity flow everywhere else. But in that one building, think about it.
You get two lift stations.
What happens if the people upstairs flush their johns and there's nothing to pump the
sewage out?
Remember, in the old days, they used to ship high in transit because wet stuff makes propane and it's explosive. Shit. The shit's going to come up in the toilets and tubs and showers downstairs. Now, I don't know how many buildings are on that pump. Say a third of them. How are that?
All of them.
All of them.
All of them.
Okay, say it goes out right now for some reason, and it's not going to go back in for 2 days. What's everybody going to do for the next 2 days?
I'm going to order Porter Johns.
We're going to have pump trucks coming.
What happens if both go out at the same time, electric and water? I spoke about hurricanes. We had Category 3s. We had 3 of them, 2005, 2006. We were lucky. The 2 in 2005 were Category 4s the day before. Overnight, they dropped to 3, and they hit us in the morning. It doesn't always work like that. What if they were a little slower or slowed up? They might have hit here instead of Category 4s, Category 5s. What's the difference? Well, Category 3, we lost maybe some mansards. We had some leaks, mostly punctures in the roofs because of Norfolk pines that we had at the time. Category 4, you're going to get all the windows blown in maybe. You're going to get more damage. Category 5, forget it. I saw Category 5 when I lived in Miami. It came through Kendall. I stood a quarter mile inland. For a half a mile on each side of me toward the bay, there was nothing standing. These concrete buildings in Category 5s aren't safe. What is safe? Category 4? People were coming here when we had those hurricanes. This place might not be safe in a Category 4. Basically, when you think about it, only buildings in our buildings, B, C, and D. They're on the ground, totally surrounded by concrete above, below, and on both sides. They're probably the only safe places around, but we have no documentation about that. How about the population density change in the area? They were studying that at the time. How does that affect us? How about deflation and depressions? You say depression might never happen. Well, it happened in 1929. Nobody said it was going to happen. But we had a real bad recession just recently, 2008. A lot of people weren't here. What happens if we have that again? At that time, people were walking in Chris's office. Here's the keys. Bye. We had how many, Chris? About 20 units that were non-performing. What if we have that again? How do you make up the difference for those 20 units? What if there's a worse recession and there's more people that leave? That's what the outside planning group is supposed to be doing. Long-range outside planning, a document where you can open the book and say, hey, there's a Category 4 coming, what do we do? Hey, you get the picture.
Yeah.
Back, I guess about 5 or 6 years ago, the board changed long-range planning to develop a plan into planning, whatever that means. I think we still need a long-range plan written down. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Hey, Jimmy, you scared me now. I'm moving. You scared me too much now. I highly respect you, Jim.
That's why I bought a C unit. Same way, right. By the way, 19C, Ed Blottenberger, and lots going on, that's for sure. But I tell you what, we got to thank the board. I mean, transparency will always be number one.
Absolutely, should be.
And I think we're always going to have room for improvement for that transparency. But I do want to thank the amount of time you guys take on it. I will say I never realized how much time we spent on any of these boards till I came to the Finance Committee on Monday. Kudos to you guys, because I tell you what, it's amazing the time and effort it takes to get involved with this. But I will say that, the long-term plan, that's why I thought I'd tag right on with him with that. The long-term planning also involves the reserves, which is what a lot of the Monday meeting was about as far as talking about reserves. Now, I come from a state, Hawaii, where reserves are mandated completely across the board. And so I wanted to speak just a little bit about the pros and the cons of that, just for you guys to consider and future boards to consider. The whole idea behind it is so that we're all prepared for whatever bills that are coming up, that we don't get all these surprises at once. However, what happened in Hawaii, at the end of the day, you got to pay. You either pay through monthly contributions to your reserves, so that when that bill comes along, you got it ready to go, or you pay for it with lower maintenance fees and lower reserves, and you pay for the bills as they come in. That's something, because it's not mandated here in Florida yet, that you guys will have to decide what's more important. But the big thing that I always find that it's always, no matter how you put it, we're all going to have to pay for whatever is coming up. It's just a matter of when that money's coming out. Because again, what happened in Hawaii, the maintenance fees went absolutely through the roof, because a very large part of the maintenance fee was for reserves. I mean, when I first got in, when I bought in here in 2011, the realtor showed me around here, said, "Oh, Monterey, this, I don't know if you want to see it because it's got high maintenance fees." And I think at that time I was paying $300 for the C unit. And I said, "What, $300? You ain't seen nothing." $300 Hawaii, right now we're paying $9 on the corner units, which is the high one. But at the same token, where reserves get imputed, in Hawaii you'll pay $1,500 easily for those units, if not more, because they're taking care of all the future repairs. So my point was just that, because we get into arguments about why maintenance fees are high, and I'm not supportive of high maintenance fees, by the way, but I think the budgets do need to be looked at with a fine-tooth comb to trim where we can, because high maintenance fees in a market where we're much higher than so many others does affect property values. What do we got, 26, 27 on the market right now?
29.
28? Yeah, I lost track, because they are harder to sell with higher maintenance fees. And then just to speak very briefly and quickly about the summary edition for the people that weren't here, it obviously lacked transparency, but I think at the end of the day, the reason it got blowed up so bigger than I think it should not have happened, but I think it was just bad timing, because the issue came up exactly the same time that we got told about this huge maintenance fee increase. And I think we were all looking for reasons to why is our maintenance fee so darn high, and that incident came up. So I, for one, would like to see that apologized for and just put under the carpet and moved on. Thank you, guys.
Hi, Barbara Stain, 28I, and addressing the issue of high maintenance, I have a question that is resolvable. I'd like to see the residency requirement lowered from 3 years to 2 years for all the new owners who bought at a very high time. The maintenance just about doubled at the same time, and they cannot sell and they cannot rent. Can you do something about that? Can you change that to 2 years requirement instead of 3 years, a new owner?
It's in our documents, and it's got to be voted on. We've got to have 256 votes in order to pass it through. It's got to go out to the owners.
It can be done.
Oh, it can be done.
Yeah, you get two, like Ron said, you can send it out to everybody. You need 256 votes that say yes, they want to do that.
Okay. All right, so it's up to us to
I mean,
approve.
everything's up to the community.
Okay.
This is a democracy, believe it or not. It is a democracy, so everybody has their opinion. And unfortunately, people don't like somebody's opinion. They hold it against them. See, I don't argue your opinion. That's your opinion, my opinion. I'm not going to change your mind, whatever your
Okay.
opinion is. But it's a good point. It's a very good point.
Okay, it is a good point.
Yeah.
My second inquiry is, I hear that there is a pickleboard court available to us here at Monterey in Palm City. It's not that we can reserve, but it's that we're allowed to use it if we show up in a group and they're notified of it. Do you know anything about that?
Where's Eileen? Mamo.
No, the pickleball courts are at Hal Patioki Park. So if you go out to Canner Highway towards I-95, there's a big park on the left-hand side called Hal Patioki, and they've got probably 20 pickleball courts. Oh yeah, you can show up with your stuff
Yeah.
and go play.
All right, thank you.
They've got them down there.
And I
If
believe
you,
there's also one on Map Road in Palm City, but I'm not sure. I really have no idea where.
All right.
Okay, so if you go over the bridge and you make a right-hand turn, I believe, on Mack Road. Correct. And it winds through, there's a park on the left-hand side. And I'm assuming that's gotta be where it is. I know they had tennis ball courts, and I bet they made one in the pickleball. That was even closer.
Right.
That's right over the
Yeah.
bridge, your first right-hand turn, and it's on the left-hand side.
All
the
right,
ones
thank
down,
you.
the ones down by 95, before you get to 95 on Canner Highway, you take a left down there. It's around where Dunkin' Donuts is in there. That road goes right down. You go right to the park. There's probably at least 10 courts down there, I think.
All right.
At least 10 of them.
Good.
If
Those
not
are my
more.
questions. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Excuse me, can I make a comment? Can we keep side conversations to a minimum? Is a matter of fact none? Because it's very difficult to hear the speakers. Thank you.
Bob Stober, 40E, President of the Men's Golf Association. I'm here today just to introduce Paul Jose, who's going to talk on behalf of Men's Golf about having an event for Glow Ball for the men, similar to what the women have. Paul Jose.
Good morning, Paul Jose, 45H. As Bob said, I've taken a proposal to mixed golf and to men's golf, who have both approved it, for a one-time glow ball event for men's league. The women have had one, and I believe there's another one scheduled.
Yeah.
We're going to do something very similar. We're going to have played just 4 holes, a shotgun start. It'll be starting about 6:30 or so, and only lasts 45 minutes or so. But the men haven't had an opportunity to play the glow ball, and we'd like that. I'd like to schedule it February 22nd on a Thursday. Need approval from the board to be able to do that.
We should put that on the agenda item too, right?
Agenda, Chris.
Okay.
Paul, I think one of the ones that was my concern was on it, I was a supporter of it, is that they signed a waiver for what it's worth. A waiver saying just in case they get hurt in the dark out there and so forth.
Yep.
Which is not a problem. I think the woman did that.
They did that last
graciously,
year.
just signed a
And
waiver and.
we're going to do it very similar to
Yeah.
the
Right,
the way
right.
that the women's golf runs theirs. So, any other questions? No.
I would just recommend that you talk to Vicki Mullen when she gets back, because there was a total criteria that was written to provide safety for anyone who is on the golf course that does glow ball.
Okay.
You know, some of it was just off the top of my head. Oh, yes, she
I
does
think
have it.
she's got it, yeah.
Every golfer has to have a partner.
A
that will-
non-golfing
yeah.
caddy, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay. So, again, talk to Vicki Mullen and.
Very simple stuff. Yeah, I've talked to a couple of women who have played in it. And again, we're going to do very similar to the way that the women's running. I haven't seen their rules or their criteria, but we may just take their rules and adopt.
It's pretty simple, I think,
Yeah.
to follow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I just want to know, are you going to do beer and wine afterwards? Because that's what we do.
Of course.
Thank you.
You can put that on the agenda for,
Yes, I mean.
Go ahead.
who's the liaison?
If this volunteering all works out and we save some money, do we have any generators on site?
None that I know of.
Emergency
No.
generators?
No.
How about having one over at the clubhouse, over at the water, and one here? Because if we lose electricity in here, that means you're not having air conditioning. And I don't know how everyone would survive without air conditioning. During hurricane season, it's gonna be hot. You know, if these two buildings were at least cool, people could come here, they could bring their food out of the refrigerators and have barbecues. And then whatever can't get eaten, you throw it into the dumpsters. But I think that would be really something that would be good, my opinion.
Good. Oh, it's a good idea.
And
Put it in the
also-
budget.
Yeah, if we were
We
to
don't have any
save some
money for
money,
it.
I don't know how much it will cost, but
Yeah.
there's natural gas or
Yeah.
propane, whatever, on the road, right?
Yeah.
You just hook up to that. We're not gonna run out of that.
Well, we got propane in. There's no natural gas out there that I
Well,
know
whatever
of,
it
is
is.
there? Oh,
Well, you will
okay.
after at the barbecue. But, that was a joke.
No.
Lighten it up. And maybe a couple
Hey, Bob,
defib,
is he with you? Is he with you?
a couple defibrillators would be nice.
We got him.
We got
We
one
got
over
it?
here.
Good,
We got one over
good.
there.
All right, just want to cover
Yes,
the
we got
bases.
those.
All right, well, whatever.
Thanks, Dave. Oh, here comes Brad. Let's see.
How you doing,
I'll
Brad?
go.
I'm doing good.
Huh?
My name is Brad Cairns. I live in 33E with my wife Gloria. I've got a few things I want to go over. I still want to bring up my front door. We put in for that door back in April or May of last year. We have termites in the door, we have rot in the door, we have cracks in the doors, and we were approved to get a door, and nothing's happened on it yet. I hope new management certainly has available to them contractors who will come in and do this work, licensed and insured and with permits. But I'd hate to see our termites spread through the building, and then we have to have our building tented, and we have that inconvenience and that expense. I don't know why we haven't been able to get a door in this amount of time. But I'd certainly like to see the board and the new management take this up and get it done. It's been a little too long.
And I know they're working on it, so.
I hope so. It seems to me, as residents, we're responsible for our windows, and if we go to replace them, we have to use licensed people and get permits in order to get it done. Why Monterey has gone all this time doing doors without permits when it's the law, and we haven't been doing that. Kind of bad. I brought up last time as well our laundry coins and what that's costing us, and I want to bring it up again. I think the amount of money we have floating through here and really no accountability for it is not a good thing.
Yes, there is.
There's
Oh,
accountability.
there's accountability for it, yep.
Explain
Everything
that
is
to us.
metered off of that box there. Everything.
Okay.
It's all on calculators.
Okay, but it seems to me there's a better way to do this whole thing. And you may not, people may not like this whole idea. I'd like to see it be part of our HOA, and I've run numbers on it. And we get about not quite $65,000 out of that machine. And if you take all 210 units and you add $10.65 to their HOA per month, you could remove the coin machines and you would get that $65,000 in. It seems to me.
Where are you going to get it from?
What?
You're going to get it from the owners?
If you raise the HOA.
My wife will be in there washing every day.
Why?
Why? Because that's what she does at home. And they're going to be, and she's not going to be the only one doing that. Believe me, it's not going to be the only one doing it. It'll be, and every time their towel gets wet, they'll go throw it in the dryer.
Okay, it's just
Already been discussed.
Brad, one
it
other
seems hard
thing.
to-
I don't think the community's gonna like another $10 a month.
Well, I said I don't think it's going to be a popular idea. It just seems
Oh.
odd to me that if you, I'd be happy to pay $11 a month more on my HOA and get rid of the coins.
So would
Coming
I.
up here and getting them and,
Oh,
and
absolutely. I
hassle,
agree with
I'd
you.
like to get rid of it.
Oh, I
But-
agree.
Again, it may not go very far,
I'm
but
spending about $20 a week right now, so I agree with that.
yeah, yeah, that's what would happen. The last thing I want to go over, and I hope we can make a change in this community.
Please.
And the way we treat people, because we received a letter here, it's probably a month or 5 weeks ago now, And I'll read you that letter. It's about our cats. And my biggest point on this is how we treat people. It has been reported to the office that you have 2 cats. Pets are not permitted in Monterey. They must be removed from the property immediately. Gloria's had a cat in that unit for about 20 years. Nobody's ever said anything. Doesn't mean that it was right. Doesn't mean that there shouldn't have been something done. We should have had it registered, etc. But to get a letter like that causes a tremendous amount of stress and grievance for my wife. It didn't bother me as much, irritated me, but didn't bother me as much. It seems to me we could be a whole lot kinder in that. Yes, it's been reported that you have cats, and by the way, we were wrong in not having them registered. Admit to that completely. But we could send out a letter saying, you know, it's been reported there are 2 cats in your unit. We could go on to say, you know, there are ways of having your animals in this unit. They need to be registered. They either have to be service dogs or emotional support. We have paperwork in the office that you can get to fill that out, and if you qualify, you'll be able to keep those animals here. But to send out a letter saying you have to immediately remove them is not very kind to people. And it seems to me we could be a whole lot kinder to the residents of this community. I hope the new management doesn't write letters like this on no matter what's going on, no matter what somebody gets called on or called out that they're doing something wrong. Are we here to send these letters out to punish people, to worry them, to scare them, or would we like compliance? It seems to me we would want to have compliance to our rules, not try to scare somebody and hurt somebody. So I would like to see some change in how we send these things out. Also, once an animal is designated as a support animal, they are no longer considered a pet by state law. And state law also says that each owner is allowed to have that animal. So I take a little exception with the letter saying we don't allow pets in this community. I see all the dogs walking around. But then again, if they've been registered as a support animal, they're no longer a pet. They're a service animal. They're a support animal. And so we need to make some changes in how we're treating people. If we're going to keep treating people this way, it's not going to be very good around here. And quite honestly, if Monterey were to push it and say, we don't care what you do, because we filled out all the paperwork. We've done all that, and it's all been approved. We went to the doctors twice to get all this, say, yes, they're emotional support animals. So we've got all the paperwork in. I've not heard a decision on that yet, but I can tell you this. If a board were to come back and say, well, we don't accept that, you still have to get rid of your animals, you will see us moving. And if that's what this community is about, if we're trying to get people to move out because we don't like them, we don't want them to have their animals, then we're in the wrong place here. We're living in the wrong place if that's what it is. So I feel bad that people get these kind of letters. So I thought I had another point I wanted to make on that too. I would like to see some things changed in that area, in the way we communicate to people and treat people, and I'm hoping that our new management will find different letters to send. I've gotten other letters, and I don't think they were very kind and very, very considerate of the people and who we're sending things to. So I hope we can make a change in that and do it a little bit differently. Thanks for your time.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody? You want to answer? I'll answer it. What?
Tom Kabansky, 26B. Brad, I appreciate what you're trying to say there, and I'd like to also comment that it all depends how you read a letter. I'm sure when you received that letter, you were a little bit angry, and I can understand that. But I can also think that maybe if you had your cat there, whether it's a what do you call emotional support animal? Emotional support. The medical term for it. But anyway, I have sinuses, okay? So if you have a cat in your facility, you're supposed to let people know. Now, In my building, when we came here, we registered and we said, yes, I have sinuses, I have cat allergies and all that. And someone said, and bought a new unit here and said, oh, I don't have any cats. But yet they walked in the door with a cat, okay? Now, is that fair to me? No, it's not. And that's why there are rules that exist out there for people who have animals and who have the medical reason for needing the support animal. But you need to be just as aware as I need to be about not being subjected to these allergies. And that involves the washers. So if you've got cats in your facility, whether it's a support animal or not, you're still maybe affecting people with allergies. So all I want to say is there's always a two-way street, and I'd like to bring that to your attention.
Rebuttal.
And I appreciate that point of view. I'm well aware of people who have allergies. I'm well aware that if our cats, through our laundry, was bothering another person in our building, that wouldn't be acceptable. It's not that we'd get rid of our cats. We'd probably have to do our laundry somewhere else. And that would be our responsibility, not somebody who's living in the building that has that allergy. But since we've not been made aware of that in our building, we haven't taken the step to do our laundry off-site. What I was saying about the letter being so harsh and I think unkind is that we have paperwork in this office. I came down to the office and asked about it, and they went right to a file, pulled it out. Here's your paperwork to go through the process to get your animals registered. So if we have that there, why wouldn't we say that in the letter? If you want to keep these animals, you're going to need to go through this process. Give the people the opportunity. Nothing said about that. I had to find that out on my own. So that's where I'm talking about it being unkind and harsh and not very fair. But I do fully understand other people have allergies and that we have to be aware of that and not cause them problems as well.
Hi, it's Barbara again. I'm sorry to be repetitious, but you have to help me out here. What is the procedure to reducing the residency requirement? You started to talk, Bob, and it was too much for me to grasp. Tell me again what happens before it becomes...
The way the documents read is that if you want to change a document, okay, and or a bylaw,
Is this a...
This is Florida state statutes. You have to get 256 votes to change your documents.
But is this...
It's possible to do it. Don't get me wrong.
No, I understand
We've done
that.
it before.
But is this actually an official
Yeah,
part
it's
of
the
our...
documents. It's your
No,
documents.
that you made this residency requirement 3 years. Is that official, a part of a document? Or
Yes,
is that
it is.
just...
No, it's part of the documents. It's part of the documents.
Because it
Right.
wasn't always that way. I'm here 27 years.
It was there since 1990.
Well, you have to read the documents.
1990 something, I think.
But it wasn't always here. It wasn't always a requirement.
No, it was changed in 1990 something, I believe. What's that?
2000, May of 2013.
2013 it was changed.
In May.
Okay.
Okay. That's what it was changed. It could be, no, anything can be changed, whatever the public wants, like I said
Yeah,
before.
no, I
This
just
is a
want to know
democracy.
how it goes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You need 256 votes to say yes.
But before that point, you guys have to first approve it, or it has to be presented in a meeting, or...
Actually, you have to get 75, you gotta get 75 people to vote on something you want to change. It comes to the board, and then the board will send it out to everybody in this whole community to vote on it. And if they want to change it, we changed the SUV thing. We changed a few different things you had to support. But you have to get the support of at least 256 at the end. You need 75 petitioner to start the ball rolling.
All right.
Okay?
So that's what you
Yeah.
do initially. to
Correct.
see if
That'll
it's
start
even-
it and then bring it to the board, and the board will look at it and send it to the general public. So everybody has a right to vote, whether you live here, as long as you're an owner here.
All right.
Yeah, but that's the process. That can be done. I mean, it's what the people want. I
Yeah.
mean, 256
It's-
people want it. Well, that's great.
It's simple enough. I just wanted
Well,
to
yeah, it's
understand
possible,
it.
but trying to get 256 votes is I'm not deterring you. After Jim Hensel talked, I don't know how many people are going to move out of here. Thanks, Jim.
All right.
Oh, he's true.
Thank you again.
Right, Jimmy?
I got her thing here too.
Okay, originally, I'm changing the plans a little bit.
Okay.
Ron had a letter that I wrote. What's that?
All right.
Oh.
Name and unit.
Pat Friedman.
Pat Friedman, 13F.
13F. Oh, I was 4F. No,
Lucky
All right.
13.
Lucky.
So you don't need to read the letter. It's good. It's all good.
Okay.
Welcome, Carlos.
Hey.
Hey, the mic. Okay.
Just try to get close to the mic, that's all you
Yeah.
can.
Okay, so where do we begin and where does this end? It has been going on for months, this walkway painting, mystery, whatever you want to call it, months. There's been unkind phone calls being left on people's voice messages, being verbally attacked for questioning. Brad, gee, I wonder, after we get up and speak, what goes on. Oh, we're going to target this person now. Rumors versus truth. Division in this community. Come on, people, we're better than this. Let's get the truth out today. One of the parties involved isn't here. I saw she left, so can't get an answer from her. Who got paid? Who approved the payments? And how much did each one get paid? I don't think we have a total yet. I don't think we've ever been told the exact amount. So maybe we need to find that out. This is our money, ours. This is our money.
Our money, too.
Exactly. So why would something get approved that, where's Chris? He's got so much knowledge in his head. I can't believe he didn't realize this was against policy rules. However, I'm really praying, Carlos, we will have more transparency and honesty in the future. This has divided, it continues to divide, and we really, there's so many condos on here, are they because the fees are going up or because the riffraff, whatever is going on here, this needs to stop. We need to find peace in this place that we all thought was going to be wonderful, and it can be, but not the rate that it was going.
Very good.
Okay, I'll speak up.
Yes, please do.
Diane McIntyre, 29E. I actually signed that check, one check.
I know you did, yeah.
Okay, one check. I was one day home from the hospital from having surgery, and there was no one to sign checks. So Chris called me and said, is there a comment over here? Great. Okay, so Chris called me and said, Diane, can you sign checks? I said, sure, but you're going to have to bring them to me. So he brought the checks down to my house. My husband was sitting right there with me. And when I reviewed all the checks and all the invoices like we've been doing for the whole 4 years that I've been on the board and questioning anything, I said to Chris, gosh, I've never signed a check for a board member.
Mm-hmm.
Chris clearly said to me, she's not doing this as a board member. Now, I'll tell you, 1 second, let me finish before you jump all over me. Number one, I'm already on oxycodone. Truly, I thought I was making an appropriate decision. I got the information from the person I believed had the right answer. So I am tired of being maligned for these months.
We're tired of it too. This is our money. Keith, you signed a check. Keith, you signed a check also? You signed a check also.
One person at a time, please.
Did you understand the rules?
I talked to Chris similar to what
I signed checks along with Pam Kabansky I started middle of August. I signed probably over 600 checks since then. I talked to Chris and he explained that it was approved, and so I went with that.
Okay.
And I did too.
So it really falls
So,
on
Pam,
Chris.
in a second, when I looked at the rules after the fact, I'll admit it was after the fact, but if you read the rule, it's an interpretation. It was an interpretation after the fact. When I first asked, and I said to Chris, in my exact words were, "Is this kosher?" Sorry if I offend anybody of any ethnicity. But and Sam will know that I pointed out, because I got an email from Sam, and he wanted to know what happened, and I told him exactly verbatim what happened. It was. It was. No, that's okay.
My point today would be, I understand you, Diane. I give you credit under this circumstance.
Yeah, we gotta use the mic, Mike. You gotta use the mic. They can't hear you.
Why nobody call Ron Longo, Bob McHugh, Magolzi, or Chuck Park? I mean, here we have three. They manage here full-time, okay? I'm sorry?
I wasn't here when Diane was checking.
He was here
I
full-time.
wasn't here.
Why did they go to Lorraine Daniil, for what I understand? If I'm wrong, you have my apology, okay? So why all of yous didn't call the president? Or better off, why wouldn't you call an ex-president that he knows the rules and the laws better than anybody in Monterey?
Because I asked the manager.
I understand
I
it.
apologize if you think I did something wrong.
You asking me?
No.
Oh, don't ask me, because I will tell you.
Okay, did I do something wrong?
Yes.
Okay, what did I do?
You should have never signed it. You should ask questions.
Probably. I did ask questions. I asked the manager.
Listen, you people do a beautiful job, and I have a lot of respect for all of you. I really do. But we can't just pick and choose, okay? So you made a mistake. I understand now. Diane said it, but I'm still going to go back. He is the president. That man did not know a word. He didn't know anything.
Okay.
Barbecue.
I will say, honestly.
You shouldn't be. Now you discriminate.
Hang on a second.
Now you discriminate.
Stop right there.
Stop.
Okay.
Now we're getting into.
Hang on a minute. You want to tell me? Let me ask you something. We're a phone call or an email away. Okay. I'm going to tell you something. You had a board member that was here full time. Had no idea it was even going on. So don't start pointing it at the president. Really? Really? You know what? I was supposed to be getting those checks every single month. They stopped giving them to me. So don't try to point this at me, because I'm going to tell you something. You're pointing it at the wrong person. Really?
No.
I'm the one who what? I'm the one who what?
Let's get Pat.
You're barking up the wrong tree, because I'm going to tell you something.
Let me sum this whole
Oh,
thing
yes, you are. Okay.
Then you
Don't
can
tell
say
me. I
what
got to
you
tell you
want.
something.
I
You
gotta
have no
say
idea
something.
what even goes on in here, as far as I'm concerned.
The mic.
You don't have the first clue.
Okay, I think we're getting a little on the hand here.
That's why I'm getting off the board,
Yeah.
okay? All you people, see what goes on out here? Because none of you know what goes on inside. Believe me. Not a one of you.
Okay, I'm going to say something here, which I didn't want to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. Okay? Like Ron, this guy, every board member does what they have to. Let me just explain something to you. Okay. The documents say, our documents, now hear me out the whole thing before you rumble. The documents say board members can't get paid. However, you can interpret it very easily that they're not doing board work. You can get paid. Okay? That's the way you read the documents. However, the bylaws say, which is different, it supersedes that, and it says that the board of directors cannot get paid at any time. Okay? That's the difference. Okay? The documents do say you're not supposed to get paid for on a board, but you can read it very easily. That's why they changed it back when they put it in the bylaws. Should we know the bylaws? Yes. It was a mistake made? Yes. However, I think the whole big thing in this thing here, and I'm going to say it right now, and I don't care, is unfortunately the person that's getting hammered didn't say, I apologize. I think that would be a big help. And unfortunately, the person's not, I think that would have been, this thing, I believe, in all the years I've been here, this thing has been blown out of proportion, something fierce, on both sides, okay? And it had to come to a stop, and I think that, and I would tell anybody that, I think that in defense of Kay, if she said, you know, the documents say this, Chris told her, and Chris admits it, he told her to do it, and we all rely on Chris, okay? A lot of us do. But was she wrong? Yes. However, Chris told her to do it, which, and I'm not condoning anything, okay? But that's the whole thing. I think this thing got blown out of proportion, something fierce. I think so.
The other thing I'd like to say is that Chris did apologize for this mistake.
To who? He didn't apologize to the community.
Yeah, he did.
Yes, he
Yes,
did.
he did.
No, he
Yes, he
did. Wait a minute.
No, he did not.
I'm speaking. Ron apologized. Chris said, I apologize. He sent the board apology. I pointed at Peg. She has not and will not apologize. She's not even here. And Chris, where is Chris now? He's not here. So between the two...
I believed he apologized.
He did apologize.
He did apologize.
He did apologize at one of the board
apologized.
He
meetings. I know he did.
apologized.
Well,
He did not.
and
He
I
did.
do know
He
at
did.
a property manager meeting, right, Nelsa? He brought it up. This is what
Hey, Chris,
happened.
there he is right there.
Let me,
Ask
Chris,
him.
did you ever apologize?
Yes.
he
When?
did. Twice.
All right, so...
2 times. 2 times.
And
2 times.
there's a rumor that's going around, and it's true.
At your
I
meeting.
screwed up. Yes, ma'am.
At your meeting. And then you said, I have a good long-term memory. I don't want to hear anything else about it.
We already
And cut us
apologized.
off. But at the board meeting, when I stood up and I said, no one's apologized, Ron said, you did. He said, I did.
Yeah.
Peg wouldn't even look at me.
Well,
So you knew or didn't know the rules, correct? Is that what you
Okay.
thought you were doing right by?
Correct. The Florida statutes allow board members to get paid. The Florida statutes. Yes, they do. If you look at 718, board of directors can get paid for non-board member things. You have to submit what it's for. You have to let it out there that I am a board member and I am doing whatever.
Is that right?
And I even said in my meeting, I did not check our documents. That's my fault.
Okay,
100% did.
all right.
yes.
So, the other thing is, if you stand up, that was my intent of the letter, stand up, I don't know how, if you stand up and speak out after the meeting, you will be verbally attacked, which is what happened the last meeting with the $450 in envelopes, and then oh, she's left. Verbally attack me. That will never happen again. Never. So, Brad, do you think it's because we spoke up? Your cats are now a no-no? Okay.
All right, Pat, let me just explain something. I'm not going to
Okay.
get an argument. I was there. I was
You
there.
were there.
I was
We were
there.
talking about
He-
bingo.
Chris came out, correct me if I'm wrong, Chris came out because the big thing was that why are we paying so much for administrative envelopes and so forth like that. So Chris did come out with 4 boxes. Did he come out gingerly? No. Okay, I agree to that. Unfortunately, he brought the point. The point he was trying to make is, look, this is what $400 for this and that. That's what that cost, right? And then he whacked back in. In defense of him or anybody, he did talk loud and say things, but as I wouldn't take that as a threat. I would take that as you're right, he was very boisterous or very loud. Like, unfortunately, I
Which
talk
he
loud.
always is.
Yes, that's what happened. And then he went right back in. You are correct. But he was very loud.
But at the
That's
meeting,
his nature.
at the meeting, when this was addressed, he could have said it then. You wait till I'm standing there with Judy and her husband and you
Yeah.
to come out carrying 4 boxes of envelopes saying this costs $450, and Peg is on his heels,
Yeah.
going around.
Yeah, he was
So-
loud. Yeah, he was.
No. This
But I
won't
was-
happen again. Yes, Chris talks very loud.
Yeah.
But there's a way to talk to people, and there's not a way to talk to people.
You know,
I apologize the way I talked today. I was so loud.
I think that we've gotten to the point where there is so much sensitivity on both sides that no one can see clearly right now.
Well, you're right. But then, and then when you see things that have gone on, kind of like secret. It was a secret. Oh,
Well,
let's-
you know what? The whole thing about transparency, this is a really interesting thing. I'm on the board. Now, there was text messages and emails that were sent to a select group of people, making everybody aware of this, and it was, everybody has a right to know. I agree, 100%. Then send it to everyone, not just your chosen few.
Okay.
So again, I think that we have to just say, this is done, we're over. Let's just get back to where we're going.
You're
Gotta
right.
change. You're right, Pat. It's gotta change.
You are so right. Let's put this to rest. Never to be happened again, Carlos.
And I'll
because-
truly
He's leaving now. Poor guy. No, he knows. He's
Don't leave.
Don't leave, Carlos. No, he's on.
Don't leave, Carlos.
And I'll truly tell you, wait a minute.
Carlos.
I'll truly tell you one more thing. I would have run for the board another 2 years. I will not put myself through this again.
You better believe it.
Hey, Bob, you're saying, you want to see everybody run for the board. Gee, I wonder why they don't want to.
Well, I want to say one thing because somebody wants to attack me and tell me they need a full-time president down here. Let me tell you something. As soon as I stopped this thing, as soon as I found out, I stopped it. Okay, not one person that was signing checks or did anything else stopped it. I did. Okay. So if you want to try to attack me and say you need a full-time board president down here, you're wrong, because that doesn't make any difference. Because if the president doesn't know what's going on and nobody notifies them, guess what? Nothing's going to change. Like I said, you had a board member down here that had no idea the other board member was getting paid. I'm going to read. Stop, please. I don't want any claps. Stop.
You got him going.
I'm going to read something. Article 5, Section 8. Okay? This is how this thing. Hang on one second, Carlos. Article 5, Section 8. No fee or other compensation shall be paid to any member of the board of directors at any time. Okay? If you don't know the rules and you don't know the bylaws or you don't know the statutes, that's the person sitting right here, whether it's the board or the president. Nobody else is.
Ron, it's the president. You're supposed to be the leader.
Yeah, how did you know?
Right. Well, guess what? Who's supposed to lead? You want to lead in something like this?
If you knew of these rules, why didn't you have a meeting with your committee?
Let me, I'm going to try to.
I can't hear you. Hang on a minute. Stop.
Ron, could I say one
Stop.
word?
Wait a second. Go ahead, Tom.
Why didn't you have a meeting with your board and tell them you need to be aware of this? If you
I got to tell them to be aware of the statutes and the bylaws that they're supposed to know?
Yes. You know, I was a president of a pretty goddamn big corporation, $550 million to be exact. And you know what? I saw a check run before anybody signed a goddamn check. All right?
Really? And we got to, and we have a check process, and we have a check process that we go through that 2 board members sign it. Okay? There's no questions on the board member side. They're not supposed to know the rules, the bylaws, or anything else. Yeah. I'm not saying they don't make mistakes, but the point of the thing is this would have never stopped regardless. So am I.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody. I'm done.
One thing on it. No, Ron.
I'm done. Okay?
Wait. No, Ron.
I'm done. Why
Ron.
do I stay here and put up with this abuse? You know, you guys have no idea what I've gone through for the
That's
past
right.
2 years, okay?
I was a president for 6 years, and he's got more aggravation in 1 year than I had in 6 years, and it's not fair for him. That your character's not right.
Excuse me, please. I'm going to ask just one question to everybody. Where do you live? What community do you live on? What about you guys?
Monterey.
And you? They live in Monterey too. Everybody is one community. And what I'm seeing today, it looks like every one of you live in a different community.
You better believe it, Carlos.
No, that's not acceptable. We got to work together if we want this community to succeed in everything that we try to do. Yes, the board committed a mistake. Chris committed a mistake. Everybody can commit a mistake. The only thing important is that you own that mistake and say, yes, screwed up. I'm sorry. But after that happened, you keep drilling. You keep going to the same issue. Let it pass. Already passed. So pass the page and let's keep working together. Because if you keep dividing the community, this is not going anywhere. We're going to end the drinking water from the pool because, okay, nobody's going to help us out. Why? Because we're digging too much. And instead of working and trying to fix issues, we keep going in the same issues. Okay? Important thing for me is that I need to hear from you when you have an issue. My email is the most important way of communication. You send me an email, and I will reply to you. Please, don't send me 10 emails for the same reason. If I haven't answered that one email, it's because I'm looking to see what's going to happen or looking for an answer. You don't want to hear the first thing that's coming to my mind. You want to hear what is going to happen. How you're going to be able to help us out. How you're going to be able to fix these things. So give me the chance. We're going to work together, and I need your help, every single one of you. The board is not an easy job. That's why most of the people here, they just want to, you're responsible. No, they're not just responsible. You are responsible. Everybody is responsible for what's happening in the community. But by bashing and calling somebody names and doing things, you're not helping your own community. I don't know who you're helping. So please, think about your community, think about yourself, and try to do the best for this community. I really, really appreciate your help, and I know we're going to work together. Wonderful.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Carlos.
Carol Flutterback, 47F. I've been here since 2008. And when I came here, I remember people referring to the renters versus the owners. Now it's come to the full-time versus the snowbirds. We all live here. We all pay the same amount of money. I live in a community up north. I don't go through this nonsense about, oh, you're a snowbird, you're a this, you're a that. We are one community. I'm in this community, and I have volunteered a lot of time here like everyone else. And I would appreciate not being called a snowbird or whatever other term you use for it, part-time. I'm an owner just like everyone else, and I have the same rights as anyone else. If you don't want to afford me the same rights as a full-time person here, then cut my maintenance.
Diane, thank you. Thank you. I very much thank you for saying something. You're right, we all have to be able to get along. It shouldn't be, oh, well, it's this group, that group, and all of that stuff. And we do have to work together. But like I said, the first thing that Carla says is take ownership. And thank you for taking ownership. I appreciate that so much. Ron, thank you for your 24/7 job that you've given for years in working on this property. And I do believe that a treasurer's responsibility is to report to the president, okay? And I believe you were left out of the loop and you did not know, and you have done an excellent job, and I thank you for that. Bob, you have given years to this place.
Can you repeat that? What'd you say?
You have given years and blood and sweat, just like Ron, to this place.
It shows.
Well, he's lost his hair.
You're
So,
right.
thank you. We don't always like the decisions, but we've lived with the decisions. I remember when I got a letter saying, I had a bike tied up, and I went around and took a picture of every single bike in this community parked wrong. And I said, and I took a picture, and I printed probably 57 pictures of bikes illegally parked. And I said, do not send me a letter unless you're going to send it to 57 other people. Okay? Don't pick and choose. Let's become one community. Diane, thank you. And Chuck, thank you. I just want ownership. Ownership. And then we can all move on. And we haven't gotten ownership from everybody.
Thank you. Okay, so what I'm about to say, you're not going to want to hear. But thank you for saying you apologized. I've been waiting to hear that for 4 months. Thank you. But the person who is not here, who's responsible for all this, where is she?
She's at a doctor's appointment.
Oh, okay, right in the middle of the meeting, she had a doctor's appointment, and she knew about the meeting how long
Do you
ago?
know this meeting was pulled together on a shoestring?
Yeah, I know, I changed a lot of things for it. So whatever. Okay,
so that's the kind of comment that causes issues, though.
Well, that's too bad, Diane, because I'm going to give it back to you when you're going to give it to me. Sorry. Okay, so what I want to say to Ron, what you said has been very true. For the last 2 years, it's been a hell. Since this happened 4 months ago in my house, it has been hell. And you know that, because you're on the phone with Chuck, and Chuck's on the phone with you, and he's taken a lot of grief over this. It's not his fault what happened. And it's unfortunate that he had to find out from Pam who was doing the problem. Okay, this is the last thing I'm going to say about it, but a lot of things need to be rectified. And I'm sorry that you're not going to continue to run for the board, because you have done an awesome job. And it's going to hurt all of us if you don't, because we know what's going to happen, and that's going to be the alternative. Thank you, guys.
Okay, we've got one other piece of business here. And I got another correspondence letter.
Hope this is a good one. Do we have anything good? I want to see how many people.
Don Hanna.
Oh, Christ.
I had to give him who it was.
This is from.
You can't hear it, Rod.
This is from Don Hanna. Okay. Dear Chris, I'm writing in the follow to recent communications on Friday regarding all the items below. I'm also requesting that the communication be sent to NYCC board members. I will provide printed copies for you to share, but ask that you also forward the emails. Okay. This is about the roofs. Okay. At the end of this letter are photos of the visual condition of newly installed roof on Building 14 taken by our AC service technician who visited on Friday. Standing green water on the roof in multiple places. It had not rained for several days. It's largest directly above our dining room, and is far worse than any standing water that ever presented itself on the roof. Roof covering is at least in one place is delaminating, okay, and it is completely detached from the structure of the roof directly above the porch, and possibly elsewhere as well. A bubble in the roof in this location has formed. These flaws in workmanship are serious and need to be addressed with the new management company. In addition, as you know, the roofing company left debris mess outside the building for several weeks, and thankfully, upon notice, you had them cleaned up. However, on Friday, our air conditioning technician discovered another mess of debris inside the attic, and he said he was willing to work with us to remove most of it, including Bush beer cans, which probably could have been up there for years. I have photos, okay? This result does not inspire confidence in the quality or the newly installed building roofs, for which all of us as owners are jointly responsible. For this specific reason, and it is already indicated, I am directing this correspondence to our board of directors and ask that they address these at high priority with the soon to be approved management company for their immediate attention. As far as the roofs goes, we're going up there on Thursday, am I right, to look at the roof. These were overlays on the roof, so they're following the old roof. If something was delaminating, I would say that there would be water pouring into the apartments downstairs, so I doubt there's any problems with the roofs, but we're going to go check them. Okay, so everybody knows that. Termites. let me see, as you know, Building 14 has been under termite watch since August of 22, with 4 upper units, including ours, recording and reporting extensive termite damage. As just one example, there have been multiple work orders submitted since August of 2022 for replacing our laundry door and frame. We understood from last summer that the door and frame still need to be ordered, and that Daniel would install it in September of 2023, and that with our help, it would then be painted. We learned in November that the flood in Building 2 took precedence on Daniel's availability. Now, apparently, there's been a board decision that Daniel's services are no longer required, and that our project will now be placed on a list being developed by a management company, and supposedly will take on this responsibility. Our new laundry door and frame remain sitting in the maintenance building. When will this job be completed? And who will be responsible to complete it? With whom should we communicate? Okay, that'll probably be taken care of eventually. We're going to get to it, right, Carlos? It's on the list.
Yes, on the list.
Okay. Hotwire. First, thank you to Hotwire, Mr. William Taylor from Hotwire, for the very positive recent news that the multiple black vertical wires that have been installed incorrectly and contrary to Monterey specifications. This is going to the upstairs units. This was communicated to you by President Longo and Hotwire, and agreed to by them last spring, and the President's will be, it's going to be corrected, okay? What they do is they were running them up the face of the brick. They were supposed to be running along the side of the brick and go in. So they're going to correct the problems on that, supposedly, as soon as I send them another email. Most buildings have been, the majority of the units, the wires were placed correctly and as specified on the side of the brick fascia. I'm losing my voice here. And discreetly out of sight. However, due to the untainted staff, many buildings have one or more wires running directly up the fascia, which I just said, and the holes drilled through it. These wires and holes were predictably present in visual blight and otherwise with the most attractive feature on the back of the buildings. As seen from the golf course. Also, thank you for the news on Hotwire. We'll also remove the white paint spots that have been recently painted on the brick facade. There's been spots that were painted up above the boxes for some reason. Who knows? It's supposed to be, they're supposed to take it off. Then we got trash boxes. Finally, thanks to you and your staff for removing the trash box at Building 14 that has been infested and destroyed, literally eaten through in multiple locations by rats. As you know, in the interest of urgency, I agreed to purchase a new one without exception, without expectations of reimbursement, and I went to Home Depot and they no longer have the matching boxes in stock. David Brown and I are now working on the alternative temporary repair of the old box with you and the maintenance staff. Thank you. In closing, I simply want to convey my and Karma's personal thank you to you for 18 years of dedicated purposeful service, and to the owners and residents of Monterey. You have always communicated, and I love a commitment both to you and the place of the community, and ask that your task has not been easy. You have weathered and guided us through economic crisis, major storm damage, controversies beyond your control, complex projects, and the restoration of a golf course that is the pride and joy of our community. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Sincerely, Don Hanna. That's it. Has anybody got anything else to say? Go ahead. You're right up there.
First, I really agree with what you said. You know, it's changed the feeling in here.
Yeah.
Oh, Beth.
There you go.
32J. I'm really sorry that this has taken place here. I find
So am I.
Really, I know. And I want to thank all of you on this, and anybody that does any volunteer work. I like to do my volunteer work. It makes me happy. We used to call this place a happy place. There's more than just me that are second generation. My parents were here in the beginning, in the 70s. And came down. I've come down for many, many years, and we've owned for 9 years. It's really not a happy place. You know, you hear it over and over from various people, and I find it really quite appalling that one person doesn't left the meeting, and maybe that was wrong, and I'm sorry if she's a medical appointment. But I think it needs to be addressed with that person, and I know my understanding is, because I just heard the rumors too, being up north, that a lawyer was involved, And I don't think it takes a lawyer for somebody that's sitting on my board spending my money to stay on the board and not pay back the money that was taken. And I think, along with what he's saying, that I don't know how you heal when somebody has taken money that pays her fees of living here for a whole year. If I'm right, it covers that. And that person sits on the board continuing to make decisions about money being spent. And not apologizing. And I, for one, would like to see her on her own personal level if she wants to be here. I can't imagine being here and having done that and not paying the money back. And I just want to make that vocal.
Hopefully this is behind us, and it'll never happen again. Okay.
I don't think it should end.
Hopefully everybody pays attention to the bylaws, the statutes, and the rules. Is there anybody else that wants to talk right now, or no?
I just want to say thank you to all
You're
of you.
welcome.
It's not an easy job to be on a board, and you're always under scrutiny. And I don't know anybody, anywhere that's worked as hard as Ron has.
But it pays good. No, I don't need that. Listen, somebody make a motion to adjourn. Let's get out of here. Go ahead, Diane. Make it.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
I second it.
Thank you.